People who shoved their school papers in their backpack with no binder folder etc. Where are you now? Not great, my dude. Not great. Now I'm a teacher who shoves his papers in his bag with no binder folder. I always buy these nice binders which I carefully organize with different colors at the beginning of each school year. By the end of September I'm back to the good old-fashioned chaos. Edit. For those giving advice on organizing, my own system is rather efficient. I get home and then just put all the loose papers into different piles on my desk. Basically 2 piles. Correct this it and it has been corrected. I go over the piles in the weekend until only it has been corrected remains. I'm working on a sweet potato farm. Still looking for my homework from 5th grade. Shoving papers in my laptop bag, tool bag, desk drawer. Still trying to get my it together, but this time in a more professional environment. Decent office job. I no longer shove my papers into a backpack. That's what my desk drawers are for. I'm a doctor so now I just shove them in my white coat instead. Lost in a sea of overwhelming guilt for my lost exam papers from 6 years ago. I'm recovering from addiction to meth and alcohol. 1 year clean, woohoo. I'm living on my own in a nice apartment, still shoving anything I want into whatever I want. I toast bread 3 slices to a slot. I park my motorcycle on the line between cars in the parking lot. I eat clementines whole and spit out the peel bit by bit. My computer desktop is packed with icons on the smallest size possible. I flush my toilet once a week. I listen to 2 podcasts at once, both at 2x speed. My closet is a pile of clothes roughly organized from big to small. Wildland firefighter. Don't really have to put any papers in my bag anymore. Though I do subscribe to the stuff your tent in the bag strategy over folding it. An engineer. Still shoving my papers into a backpack. I'm living with a very organized woman and it's a pretty middle class suburban life. I got through school fine. My life changed when I got diagnosed with ADHD as an adult and started taking meds. It slipped under the radar. BC my performance was high. Director at a company of a highly regulated industry. An extra duck you to Megan Rice. My 8th grade science teacher, who said I wouldn't amount to anything. The army. Still shoving things in my backpack. Only now it's a camouflage backpack. Emergency and intensive care doctor. Still have a slightly chaotic core. Once ignored a chest infection in myself for so long. I ended up as a patient on my own IQ. Then had to have a little light thoracic surgery. I am now engaged to a man whose college nickname was Captain Sensible. He tells me when I am ill. He has no medical qualifications. Sensible bastard. I am a web programmer. It's funny because my code tends to be very clean and well documented. My files are always very organized. 2. Digital organization is really easy for me, but as soon as paper is involved everything goes to hell. A guy in my high school did this. He now has a PhD in astrophysics. Artist. Disorganized, but doing it full time. I run a program that helps pay for low-income people to be screened for cancer. My desk looks like a ducking disaster but I know where everything is. Doing coke off a hooker's ass. 2x college dropout and single parent. I guess you can say I never learned to put a protective cover on things before shoving places. A copywriter. Still doing this out of spite. Who's in prison now? Mr. Kennedy, you dinosaur. I filled my backpack pretty quickly, so I used to walk around school with 2 shopping bags full of miscellaneous unsorted papers. I'm pretty successful and working in research now. I haven't used paper records for work in years. I still shove all of my important papers into a big plastic box, so I have to dig through the mess every year when I do my taxes. When the box gets full, I shove it in the closet and buy a new box. On medication for ADHD, currently in college with my notes nice and organized. Engineering student and I still shove papers in my backpack and use them in a bonfire once the semester is over. Anyone else folded a stack of papers and kept it in the pants pocket? I'm married to a woman who used 100 colored pens to take notes, so I've got that going for me. Working in IT and I have folders upon folders filled with unnamed Excel files. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3. Yup. A very disorganized grad student. Still at high school, still doing that, but I already got admitted to university, and if my grades don't drop, I'll get an 80% discount scholarship. I got diagnosed ADD, went to college, got into a super competitive nursing program, graduated magna cum laude, and now I'm in school for my masters, and now I can shove my papers into drawers. I'm a CEO billionaire, thank you very much. Software developer, winning at life. I keep all my files on my desktop. When that gets full, I create a folder called old desktop and put everything in there, and start with a new desktop. When that gets full, I rinse and repeat. Work at a hedge fund with my desk covered in paper. So I kinda cheated the system. I'd read through the entire textbook in a week or so. I never did homework, minimal effort on class walk, but always A's on test. They ended up isolating and supervising me during test. Come to find out I'm Asperger's as hell, and I learned best this way. I own 2 businesses and provide a nice living for my family. Using cloud services like OneNote so I'm paper free. Successful and still shoving papers into bags. Only failed out of college 4 times. I'm CEO of my own startup. I'm an accountant. My reports are very organized, but I have 3 drawers full of stuff I might need at some point. Working my way through school as an engineering major. Had some fairly successful internships so far. I'm straight up not having a good time. High school GPA 1.8, class of 1993. Coast Guard 1993 to 1995, kicked out for bad attitude. 1995 to 1999, pre-med major 4.0 GPA. 1999 to 2000 carpenter. 2000 to 2001 commercial pilot training. 2001 to 2006 commercial pilot. Flew a jet that said Delta on the side. 2006 to 2010 nursing school 4.0 GPA. 2010 to 2013 IQ nurse. 2013 to 2016 nurse anesthesia school. 2016 to present. Certified registered nurse anesthetist. Currently own an anesthesia company making $500K per year. I look in the mirror and laugh every day. Currently sitting in a university classroom. Got $1K in tuition this semester for grades. Suck it, you anal folder PPL. Working in a ducking supermarket. Goddamn it. I work as an archivist. I'm in charge of organizing and storing our nation's historic documents. Can neither confirm nor deny whether folders and binders are involved. I bought a briefcase with those hard portfolio pockets, so that I can shove paper in it and keep it nice and smooth. Shoving paper in people's mailboxes every day in awe. I work at a college as a janitor, even though I feel like I'm smarter than most of the people who go there. Sometimes I see an equation written on a blackboard, like half an equation, and I'll just figure it out. I'm a 31-year-old homeowner, working at a Fortune 50 company, who smokes pot every day and had $102,640 in their 401k as of this morning. Getting my engineering degree while only midly improving on organization. Build super yachts, which is pretty neato. Graduated chemical engineer. Worked at NASA for a bit. Right now I'm an aerospace engineer. In my late 40s. Still shoving papers in my backpack like they have no meaning. Unhappily existing in a dystopian hellscape now that I've matured enough to see the sheer lack of substance of our society and just how browbeaten we've become by the predatory upper classes of Western society. I get paid a lot of money to explain advertising and advertising technology to the people who wrote in 50 different color pens. Eat IT nerds. He's President of the United States. Swimming coach use an iPad and duck all the paperwork. Well, yesterday I finished my comp science master's degree with honors, so doing good? Humble brag, I'm still so giddy about this. I hate these kinds of posts. It's like the post is the punchline, you're not actually asking Reddit for comments. Doing a PhD DD in physics. I'm a gifted kid burnout. I dropped out of college after less than a semester due to some wild mental health stuff, and now I'm working at Walmart. But I can pay all my bills and save some, so I'm not doing bad. Nasaria. Diagnosed with ADHD, on meds, and working as a therapist helping other kids get diagnosed with and manage their own ADHD. Super organized and trying to convince my son to stop shoving his papers into his backpack with no folder. I'm a teacher who tries to teach kids not to shove papers in their backpack with no binder folder while reminding myself that I'm a professional who needs to use a binder folder. Soon to be a dentist. Happily married. Size admin for a large global company on a decent salary. Still an unorganized twat though. System administrator. New domain is good but my paperwork holy it. Things were digitized. Now I shove them in my Google Drive unorganized and search when I need it. Less crinkles. Same disorganization. Working in schools. Doing basically the same thing but now with students' papers. About to start medical school, and still shoving papers in my backpack. I have a PhD in chemistry and still shove papers in my work bag. Doing a quite well. Corporate level management, still shove papers in my bag from time to time. Working as a software engineer, still stuff papers into my bag whenever I'm handed the cursed things. Turns out, additors duck. Shoving papers in places they don't belong to this day. Unemployed neat. Living with my grandparents. College dropout after losing all my scholarships. Bored with video games. No real ambitions, goals, or hobbies. No social life except one girl long distance I love that I've had an on-off relationship with but doesn't want to commit. We are among you. Indistinguishable from anyone else. Rather successful consultant. I mostly shove my papers in drawers now, but occasionally still in my rucksack. In an engineering school, I have validate the first semester at 100% higher. I quit doing that my junior year of high school, and my grades skyrocketed. I went from a CD student to an A student. Then I went to college for a semester to get the math prerequisite I need to be an electrician. Now I'm just stuck waiting for the next apprenticeship period. Started my own tech company last year and made sure we are paper free. In med school, and you'll be happy to know that I now use folders. Okay, well the folders are actually ripped in half but still. And alright, maybe also the bottom parts that actually hold stuff in the folders have ripped too but still. And okay, maybe none of any of the handwriting on the papers held in them is legible but still. Probably using a computer much more efficiently than writing on paper. Engineer now. Shove papers on desk, more space. Just cleared out the last of the crumpled papers from school and I'm going to have a celebratory fire with them. Colored smoke bombs and everything. Haha. Art teaching degree. Currently taking years off to start my family. Teaching online classes. All good here. In this evolved digital age I now shove documents into folders named AskReddit or new folder. 7. I live in a van down by the river. Making just under $200k a year with full benefits and retirement package 5 years away. Still smoking pot and drinking on the weekends. I'll hit a concert and make my way to the front rail about once a month too. I joined the army, where it seems my lack of organizations is exactly how the army runs things. Management position at a University of California. Desk looks like a mess but I excel at what I do. TLDR, I'm doing fine, thanks. I graduated HS with poor grades. I didn't have the discipline or focus to finish an associated degree at any of the 3 community colleges that I attended. I started working contract security for a large cloud-based tech company in my 20s. I took a few classes and people at work got to know me, so I had a good foot in the door. Now I am 32, a technical project manager making 100k at the same company. I am married with a child on the way. We bought an old fixer-upper house in the suburbs. My dog is the best, but the cat is an asshole. Support engineer for a company that implements biometric authentication hardware software, and I store all of my files in the documents folder with no subfolders. Suck on that MRS. Bates, who told me I would go nowhere in life unless I learned organization skills. I'm a doctor scientist. I write all my notes onto an iPad Pro and just hold on to that. At school, doing the same thing. IDK what the problem is. Working in a quality control lab for aerospace. Still shove papers into my bag when in a rush. Well, I graduated from Cambridge Judge 4 years ago, if that counts for anything. I call it organized chaos.